Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Real Early. I'm your host, Larry Sternshine. On today's show, I'm joined by a special guest, filmmaker Jordan Santacana. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me on. I'm real excited.
I'm really excited to have you here. 2 years ago, we met at the Big Bad Film Festival, the very first one that was held. And it was really nice to meet you. You were very nice and kind and took the time to talk to me, which was appreciated.
Oh, no time to take. We're talking about action movies. We'll talk about action movies with anyone that wants to talk about action movies.
Hey, this is a good podcast for you. As you might be aware, I like action movies and I talk about them a lot on the shows. I had Aaron Vargas on a few
Nice.
seasons ago. Back before he was really getting into a lot of these productions and stuff. So to see him kind of grow has been pretty sweet.
He's killing it. It's amazing.
So you guys actually worked together on a short, Four Grays for Cinema.
Or Ximena.
Ximena, thank you. Uh,
That's like the fancy title.
it's great. I watched it again last night. I've seen it a few times, and I think it's fantastic for what you're
Oh,
going for.
thank you, dude. Thank you. That means a lot. I appreciate it.
And Aaron did the fight choreography on that, if I'm correct.
Indeed.
So
Yes, yes.
what was that like working with him on the fight choreography, especially somebody as hungry as he is?
Oh, dude, it was fluid. We had built like a friendship for the past year, watching a lot of movies together and a lot of texting and hanging out. And I think that because of that, we were comfortable to just throw out ideas and just see what happens, if that makes sense. And with
Yeah.
him, I feel like he knows me very well, so he could just finish my sentences sometimes.
That probably helps a lot, especially when you're working with the cast, getting them ready to shoot some of these fight scenes. What was that like for
Yeah.
them? Were they people that have done stunt work before, or was this a lot new for them?
So everybody but one had done stunts before. But what we did was 3 days of rehearsal, and then one of them was we shot like a previs, which is like a pre-visualization, and we just shot the movie on digital, like on iPhone, without costumes, and just to see how the shots would look, just to see how it would cut together, and you know, tweak last minute things. And then we went back to the same location and then shot it on 16, and that was a lot of fun. It's just and it's I think it attests to how good Aaron's choreography is and how good he is at explaining it to these people that we were able to shoot it on 16 millimeter on only like three cans. Like the dude's amazing.
Was it Angela Ellison that didn't know fighting before? Was she?
So she did like Muay Thai and stuff, but she had never
Oh,
done like on film fighting before. Uh, so she's an actor, and when I met her, she said, "I want to be the next, not next. I want to be like the female Tom Cruise." And I was like, "Let's fucking go! I got you! I got you!" So I threw her into this movie. I was like, "Hey, do you want to beat some people up?" She said, "Okie dokie." And I said, "Okie dokie," and
it,
boom, we
it
just we started working.
it doesn't surprise me that she took some form of martial arts beforehand because you could tell that she kind of got some of the movements. So it didn't really look like somebody who was just doing choreography. You could definitely tell that she had some of those skills already to make it look like it
Yes,
was for real.
yes, absolutely.
And you shot the film on 16 millimeter. Tell me about the choice in that and how that really changed the look of the film and how you want your like a goal of this film to be.
Well, okay, so in terms of the look, I think it's twofold. So I wanted to do something that felt like it was in line with 90s action films, but with the choreography of like an 80s Hong Kong film, late 70s, early 80s. 'Cause I wanted to be a little bit slow and brutal, not too many flips and stuff, but predominantly like kickboxing. Uh, and with 16 mil, it's super grimy and gritty. It doesn't, especially with handheld, it doesn't look fun, if that makes sense. And I didn't want this one to look fun. Obviously, action films are fun, but I wanted this one to be brutal. I wanted it to hurt, to feel like something. So when you're watching it with that grain, with that handheld, something happens to your brain where it puts you off kilter, so to speak. And you're like,
Mhm.
I'm not necessarily used to this. So hopefully that gets across when people watch it.
Yeah, I think it does. Especially you can tell from her performance and the visual cues you kind of give that this is a revenge picture. This
Yeah.
short's a revenge one. Um, and the emotion she gives during the fights is really what sells the fights. Because if she's not invested in that revenge, it's just not going to work. And you could definitely see that on her face.
Yes, that's the most exciting part about it for me is that she is like, like a classically trained actor. So she's going at it from like a very different perspective. So I can work with her and then give her direction as if it was just like a dialogue scene. Like with this punch, this is motivation for this punch and then for this kick, so to speak. And she, she's one of my best friends now because of this project. I was just talking to her this morning, and I don't know. It really does go to show how powerful a performer she is that she can sell all that with one word of dialogue.
Yeah, she did great, and hopefully she is continuing to move up in her career because
Yeah,
I feel like she's somebody that works really hard at her craft and whatnot.
definitely. No, yeah, she's gotten some dope shorts after that, and then she's gotten some really sick auditions this month. So hopefully those pan out.
Yeah, that would be great. I'll definitely keep an eye on what she's doing.
Yeah, she's dope.
Uh, Now, the other thing that I want to mention too, which I really thought was really neat, was the end credits. You really showed everybody that worked on the film. You had the music, the stunts, a lot of the actor, the background and stuff. What decided to do that for that particular finish?
It's interesting. I spent more time editing the end credits than I did the actual short.
I
That that
could
was
I would imagine.
that was a tough thing to edit. That was I think I kind of just want to keep doing that. I was really struck by the end credits of Lethal Weapon 4 that it's a scrapbook
Mhm.
of set photos. And I was like, that's really neat and just kind of a nice way to honor the unsung heroes, so to speak. And I say that, we're all like low budget filmmakers, but like I can't make short films without those dudes or ladies. It's fucking impossible.
Yeah.
Especially since we shot on 16th. I wanted to be like abundantly clear when you watch that movie that it was a team effort. Like I needed to be like abundantly clear.
Yeah, you could definitely tell it was a uh, everybody was working for that one particular goal. And it also kind of reminded me too of like Jackie Chan, because like he
Yeah.
would highlight it with stunts, and he would definitely make sure you see all the stunt guys. And
Yes.
I'm pretty sure you've seen a few Jackie Chan movies in your day,
Some
so
of
I'm
my
sure that
favorites.
was a little bit the
Definitely
that
was in my head. I wish we had the actors were so good that we just didn't have so many what's it called
bloopers.
bloopers.
Oh,
But
well, that's good,
I would
and
have liked bloopers. I would have liked some bloopers at the end. That would have been neat.
yeah.
But alas, they were too good.
Okay, well, maybe there'll be bloopers at the end of this episode from our discussion on
Perfect.
this.
All of my stuttering.
But yeah, the other thing too is your cinematographer,
Mhm.
Natalia Moscoso.
Yeah,
Yeah, the lighting is fantastic in this particular
she's
one.
fucking dope, dude. You
Yeah,
should, if you can, and the listeners as well, should definitely go to her Instagram page and see her work. Because when I've worked with her on a music video as well, so when she's working with interiors, if you think her work in this short is good, just wait till you'll see her in some of the other stuff that she's done, especially when it's an interior. She's incredible. I love working with her.
yeah, because I know a lot of times in the conversations we have like online with other action fans, we're always talking about lighting and how dark and drab everything looks. But this particular short really seemed like you guys focused on using the lighting to great effect because it looks like it was going to dawn for a
Yes.
lot of it. And that must have been kind of hard to like kind of keep the color throughout if it's at night. I mean, the sun's going to go down
Yeah,
quickly.
it was tough. It was coloring it was a nightmare, but I'm really glad that we stuck to our guns because from the beginning, what Natalia and I wanted to do was, in terms of the look of the film, was to make it as colorful and crunchy as possible, but without like destroying it entirely in the DI. And we pushed it to like the ultimate max that we could go. Because like I said, I wanted it to feel like a 90s cocaine fueled look, if that makes sense.
Sure.
As much as we could do, we only had $1,200 to shoot the whole movie. So as best as we could do. And yeah, I think she murdered it. She's so talented. Uh and she's a producer on it because she helped finance some of it. Like I said, it's $1,200, but it was essentially just her and I. The reason why we made it is we wanted to push ourselves as filmmakers and do a martial arts fight scene on film because I've shot a bunch of them on digital. It's like everybody can. So let's test ourselves and do it while I can finally do my favorite filmmaking technique of all time, which is undercranking when you're shooting at like 12, 16 frames per second.
The music by Josh Hendricks is
Yeah,
also incredible. Like that is some good stuff. If you crank that thing, you're gonna also be blasting
he,
your windows
he's
out.
so awesome. He's one of my closest friends. I've known him for like 10 years at this point. And we both have bonded over our love of 90s. Like Hans Zimmer's great, amazing.
Yeah. So
Specifically Mark Mancina and Trevor Rabin. And it, just sound wise, that's what I was looking for. It's like I asked him, like, give me 90s Hans Zimmer meets Mark Mancina meets a spaghetti western, like some like Ennio Morricone, but like back catalog, fuzzy ass guitar, and the dude more than delivered. I adore him, and it's since then we've had a few projects that we started working, and what I like to do is make the music beforehand, so we have some sick scores on the way.
I think the interesting thing about now, especially, is how you can create a, a score without needing a huge orchestra, and it sounds like a huge orchestra. I think that's
It's
amazing to
insane.
me. Like, you know,
The dude's a genius.
because I remember I'd watch a lot of Full Moon Pictures, like Puppet Master and all that Charles Band stuff, and
Yeah,
he'd have a synthesizer, but it would just be synthesizer music, and it would just sound computerized and whatnot. But like now, like synthesizers are like computers who just like make a score with all the instruments. It's pretty amazing.
it's mind-boggling what you can get away with at this day and age. It's really cool.
The other thing I want to touch on too briefly is congratulations on making the blacklist,
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
which if people don't know what that is a list of unproduced screenplays that are considered the best out there that are haven't been made yet, but like should be made because this stuff is like some of the best screenplays. And there's been a lot of movies that you've seen that have come from the blacklist. So what was that like getting that call that or the email or however they do
Ooh.
it?
So they did it in a cool way this year where it was a live feed rollout where they had pre-recorded messages of like actors, directors, and writers. And I was just washing dishes, and then I heard Dead Man's Island, which is like the title of the script, and I like dropped the dishes very cinematic. I was like, "What the fuck?" And then I texted my brother, and he's like, "Don't are you serious?" I said, "Yes," and I FaceTimed him, and then we both cried on FaceTime. And then I was like, "Oh wait, I need to record this video." So I went to record it and then send it to everybody, and it's been nuts. It's been real nuts.
What exactly happens now? Do you get calls from producers or do you got to work with like a lawyer and all that kind of stuff? Like what does a screenwriter do when they get their name on there?
Um, cool
Just a lot
stuff
of
I can
or a lot
answer
of
in like
finger cuts.
a cool stuff I can answer in like what, like a year.
Okay,
But but it's like best like that's like the cheeky, annoying way to say answer it, and then like let me think of like the best way to answer it. Because I think I got lucky with the events that happened afterwards, if that makes sense.
sure.
But what the blacklist has been is like a key that can unlock doors in conversations. So if I'm just gonna make something up, let's say you find yourself at AMC and this cat right here is like a famous movie producer.
Oh yeah.
And I walk up to this cat, I'm like, dude, I love your movies. It's crazy. You're a great, especially as a cat, you're a great producer. I got in the blacklist, by the way. People are, they're just like, ah, they like lock in. And it's like really inherently, I don't even know what the word is. It's just, it's funny. it's just funny to me that like sentence will like unlock things. It's like have you seen Tenet?
I have not seen Tenet.
Oh, okay. Well, if your audience has, it feels
Yeah,
like in
somebody trust me. People listening have seen Tenet. It's
Oh
just
hell
me.
yeah! I mean, the movie's kind of sick. You should watch it. But there's like a code word that unlocks conversations and tells our protagonist where to go, and that's literally just saying tenant, and he puts his hands together, and that's kind of what it feels like. And I met a pretty cool amount of other writers that got on the same one, and they're all just like really cool, just chill people that just want to write and make cool movies. It's really cool. It demystified a lot
That
ultimately.
that's good. And I'm kind of glad that I got you now because it sounds like maybe in the future you might be a little busy.
Hopefully, I hope, yeah, but hopefully never too
Knock
busy
on
for
wood
you though.
though.
I want to be super duper busy, but not too busy for you.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's one of the things I've been pretty lucky with. Other people I've had relationships with have been pretty nice and willing to come on and, you know, not cancel or anything like that. So that's always nice. Now that video you mentioned, I think it's pretty cool. Wasn't it Omar Sy that read your
Yeah,
name? And
yeah,
that's big for me because I love John Woo, and he co-starred in his remake of The Killer, which is actually great. A much different version of The Killer,
yeah.
more rom-commy, a little lighthearted,
It's
but
like a
still,
remix
it's a remix. Exactly.
or a remaster, I guess, if
Yeah.
you want to call it that, since it's the same filmmaker. But yeah, it's cool. It kind of reminded me of like funny games in a way.
Oh yeah.
Just seeing a filmmaker do the same film again in a different language,
Oh yeah, yeah.
but in a new style, newish style. It's interesting.
It's. Oh, wait, I will say, have you seen the movie The Vanishing? It is a I think it's the Netherlands or something. It's
Oh,
about
nice.
it's
Okay.
about a murderer who kidnaps a girl, and then later his her boyfriend's trying to find her, and then he meets up with the serial killer, and then
It's
he
crazy.
raped.
You're like the fourth person to tell me to watch this, so I think I'm gonna watch. It's one I want to watch tonight.
Hell yeah, he remade his movie in America, but he tacks on a happy ending and stuff. I'm like, it's bizarre. I would love to find out a little bit more about the choice. My guess is it's because they're like, oh, we're filming it for Americans. They're not
Yeah.
gonna. But it came out a few years before Silence of the Lambs, so maybe if Silence of the Lambs have come out, they might have changed things up a little bit. Um, that's just a guess. I don't know, but that's a good movie.
I'll check it out. I'll check it out.
So, you made another film that takes place in Puerto Rico. And before we get to the
Yeah.
movie, did you grow up in Puerto Rico or did you grow up in the
It
States?
was a mixture of Minnesota and Puerto Rico. And I've always felt like I'm like a child to like both worlds, which is why with that short film, I wanted to combine Westerns slash spaghetti Westerns, which I know they're Italian, with Puerto Rico and just like put it all together in a weird blender and serve it. And hopefully people will dig it.
That is a big change though, because Puerto Rico it's a beautiful island. It's warm a lot there. And then you go to Minnesota and you get, you know, feet of snow. So
Yeah, yeah,
that's a big change.
indeed. It's pretty wild. Child of both worlds, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And when you were growing up, did you have somebody in your life that was also really into movies?
Yes, my brother, but it was like from a different perspective of like he just like loves movies and likes talking about movies and would just talk about movies with me. But my love of movies, I think, just came from growing up watching these things and like around I don't know, it was like a natural inclination because like at 8 I was making shorts without knowing that I was making shorts. Like I just grabbed the camera and would set up the G.I. Joes and tell stories. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I guess the camera should go here. And it's just like it just felt instinctive, if that makes sense. It wasn't until like sixth grade that my brother's like, those things you're doing are shorts. What you're doing is directing. You should direct, be a director. And it's like, okie dokie, I'll look up what that is. And it just kind of from there, I was like, oh shit, I guess I am a director.
Do you remember your very first favorite movie?
Ooh, I can give you a few movies that are like the ice cream scoops in the sundae that is me, if that makes sense.
Sure.
That like
I love
especially
ice cream.
at like a young age. Me too. I want ice cream right now. I think so 1999. So I was 8 when The Matrix came out and like 9 when I saw it, and that just absolutely warped my mind. To this day, I do believe it's the greatest action film ever made because it's such an incredible blend of genres and has so much to say about society and about identity and choice. It's a sick movie. It's a sick movie. Anyway, that Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and Bond, I think are like the things that shook me as a kid and be like, I want to do that. Whatever that is, I want to do that, which is like those movies.
The first time I saw The Matrix was in theaters in college, so I'm a little bit older than you are. But being a fan of martial arts movies and movies in general, and I was a film minor in college at the time, going to see that movie with that teaser trailer where you're like, I don't know what the hell this thing is. And then you go see it, and I get this amazing choreography from Yen Wu Ping, plus this crazy sci-fi story with this amazingly weird green color palette with a lot of like, what the heck is going on moments. I mean, I was blown away by it when I was like 20. I can't imagine what it was like for you at 8 seeing all this craziness. Was that your first martial arts movie?
It can't have been because the way it was described to me was they're doing Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan type shit
Hmm.
by my older brother. So, because like, okay, so when it came out, my older brother was like, you can't see this movie, it's too violent. So I'm gonna explain it to you shot for shot. And then the next year at like 9, I watched it. And it was shot for shot exactly what he explained. It's kind of nuts. That being said, it's the first one that left an imprint, but I think that Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee are such, especially in the 90s, were such a staple of pop culture that it's just like Rumble in the Bronx was just kind of like always on somewhere at some point in time. Enter the Dragon as well, and references to them, I think.
Did you have other friends that liked this kind of the same movies that you did?
Not really. I was always the one that's like, hey, watch this sick action movie. Hey, watch this sick action movie. And then they'd be like, hey, watch this scary horror movie. So it was kind of like a trade and barter system.
You weren't really big into horror then as a kid.
Not until I have a friend named Joe who I actually like co-wrote a horror script with, that he's the one that really got me into horror. And that was maybe like 6, 7 years ago.
Really?
And now
So
it's
it's a
crazy.
pretty newer thing.
It is, and that's what's crazy. It's a blacklist script that like the script I got on the blacklist is a horror script. But it's my love of horror as a kid was just always Michael Myers, Ghostface, and that was it. Those are like the two things that I just adored and watch them over and over and over again. And outside of that, I just didn't give a shit. And then he pushed me to watch everything outside of that. And then I found out that I'm obsessed with My Bloody Valentine. I don't know why. It's fucking amazing.
I assume you mean the 1980,
Oh yeah.
81, I think it
Oh
is.
yeah. So good. That shower kill. Oh my
I
God.
gotta say though, I am a shooter for the remake, the
Yeah, it's
3D
pretty cool
one,
too.
because I saw it in 3D with Tom Atkins
Same,
in
same. In the
audience,
theater, I saw that shit in 3D too on a
and
date.
it was awesome. And Tom Atkins was at my particular screening. He was a really nice guy. But I think it's a legitimately good movie. But that first My Bloody Valentine, especially being that early in the slasher craze, is one of those that they really put a lot of thought into that one, a lot more than some of these other ones. So
Dude, yeah.
that's a good one to learn a lot from, especially if
Same with
you
Black
start diving.
Christmas. There's so much artistry in those films that time was spent in developing those camera shots in particular. Like I appreciate that, and in the scares.
And that the script that you did, which I read the plot. It's what is it? A pirate that gets stranded on
Yeah,
an
so like
island,
yeah,
and there's
and,
a
and then he's
monster.
hunted. Yeah, exactly.
That sounds pretty dope. Especially since
Thank you.
there's no pirate movies as much. There was that one recently that just came out on Prime, I think it was. Was it Carl Urban was the bad guy?
I'm forgetting the title, but yeah,
Yeah, but there should be more pirate movies.
there should be at least like a pirate movie a year
You know,
at minimum.
I
Base.
blame I blame Um, what is that one that Rennie Harlan did? Cutthroat Island. That really kind of put a
Yeah,
damper on a lot of pirate stuff.
but the thing is that Pirates of the Caribbean brought it back. So
Yeah.
we should be having a stupendous amount of like swashbuckling adventures, and it's sad that we don't. It truly is, especially like millennials of a certain age, people in their 30s right now, grew up on swashbuckling adventures, and we haven't had them in forever. Like, where's the Mask of Zorros? Where'd they go?
That was that a big movie for you, The Mask of Zorro? Because
Oh yeah,
that was I didn't know what to expect going into it because I don't know.
that
I
movie
just
blew
think
my
of
mind.
old Zorro and nobody's been Zorro. And then Antonio Banderas just like killed it in that particular
Killed it.
movie. But
I
yeah,
would recreate the horse chase on my couch. I was like 5 or 6.
that
Love
yeah,
that movie.
yeah, that one is I think it's really cool, especially in the 90s. There's a lot of Antonio Banderas action pictures. And that must have been great for you to see somebody that was, just not like Arnold Schwarzenegger or some
Absolutely,
Belgian
bro,
dude, you know?
absolutely. Even though it's it's like what's it called? Even though the casting is weird at the time, it's like fuck it. It's just really cool to see uh and hear that kind of music in a movie. Even though I'm not like Spanish and Puerto Rican, but it was like it's really I don't know. That movie is sick. I adore it. My background, it's the guy Williams Zorro, but I love Zorro. It's one of my favorite characters of all time.
You know,
And Mask of Zorro is where it all began for me. And I like to say that in a very cheeky manner that the Mask of Zorro is the best Batman movie ever made. Because it really does feel like Batman in the West. Like if you wanted to do you remember Batman Beyond?
the show?
Yeah.
No,
It was a
I
T
never watched
well,
it.
what the
Uh,
TV show was about was an old Bruce Wayne training a young one. And I'm like,
Okay.
dude, just take the script for the Mask of Zorro and just do a Batman Beyond. Put it in Batman universe, you got yourself a Batman Beyond movie.
I'm surprised they actually haven't developed that into a movie
They
because it
gotta
feels
wait for either like Christian Bale or who's the other one? Ben Affleck. One of them to just get like old, 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 old.
still gotta wait because people just don't, especially in Hollywood, the males especially, they just don't like age.
Yeah, so
It's
we'll have to wait like 40 or 50 years.
he'll be they'll be like 90 years old and still like look handsome. You're like,
Rip
come
the
on,
shit.
man. Where the hell is your wrinkles, man? This is it's good. Might have to recast or something. I don't know. Uh, so you made those shorts when you were a kid. Did you want to get into filmmaking school? Was that like a goal, or like what was your process of getting into the business?
Oh man. So I went to film school for like a semester and a half. I didn't like it, so I dropped out and then moved to Los Angeles and started just like PAing on shit and just learning by watching other people and by making my own shorts. And I felt like if I'm gonna go be a samurai, let me go train to be a samurai surrounded by like the best of the best. So I'm lived in LA for like let's just say like 6 to 8 years. I wasn't necessarily grinding for the industry. I was grinding for myself in terms of like practicing, doing shorts and all that fun stuff and just like building a base. And then the last like 4 years, I've really been actually grinding to get into the industry and all that fun stuff. And yeah, no, it's sorry, what was the question? I forgot.
Oh, I was just wondering your path to get to where you're at now, as
Yes.
far as like you went to film school, and I feel like the film school to making pro features pipeline is not quite as strong anymore, it seems like, because especially with right now, YouTube is really big. Curry Barker and Kane Parsons, they came from that sort of world.
Hmm.
Is that something that you consciously think about now when you're making your shorts or thinking about how to get your name out there to more like,
Yeah, I mean it's what those two dudes did is extremely inspiring. It's freaking sick, dude. I don't know, I like to see when the pathway is being disrupted. And I think a lot of this started with David F. Sandberg and his short Lights Out and seeing the wave that that's created for people to be able to, one, express themselves online, but two, to have eyeballs on them expressing themselves. And your viewers should go to YouTube and type in just horror short, and you guys are going to see there's so many horror shorts out there, and they'll have like hundreds of thousands of views, and they're begging to be a feature because they're that good. It's not that they're YouTubers, they're not YouTubers. They just put their short on YouTube, right? So it's like just like go on YouTube, type in a horror short, and you will find phenomenal stuff and maybe even find the next Obsession or the next Backrooms or the next Iron Lung, like
Yeah.
that's so cool.
I saw an interview recently. It was like an interview clip with Sam Raimi, and he was talking about how anybody could be a filmmaker, right? And he's like, all you need is 3 shots, and then you edit them together and show them to people, and they'll give you feedback or whatever, and you are a filmmaker. So I don't see why people are looking down at anybody who took their 3 shots together, edited them, and put them on YouTube so they could get feedback. Like it just feels like
Anyone who looks
you're a
down on
filmmaker.
that is just jealous that they didn't get views on YouTube. That's it.
Yeah, they're because I
I
feel
barely
like
get views on YouTube, and it's like, who gives a shit? It's almost to me, YouTube is like a meritocracy in a way, if that makes sense. And
yeah,
it's like a lot of times the best short will win. Some of the best horror shorts got like a million hits. Genuinely terrifying stuff.
yeah. There's been some really great shorts that I've witnessed.
I think horror
But
shorts are my favorite genre of shorts to watch, honestly.
but you've done a couple of shorts that were action based, and
Yes.
there's a ton of action artists out there like Marshall Club and you know
Hmm.
Aaron is putting his stuff out there, but it doesn't feel like it gets the same notice than a lot of the horror stuff. Like, what would you think would be a way to get people to recognize and look for this kind of stuff, or is it just it's just going to take time for the kids to see action's cool too?
So I'm actually curious. It's something I've thought about a lot of how, in terms of both jealousy and awe of how the horror community will wrap its arms around low budget cinema in a way that the action community, by and large, and when I say by and large, I don't mean folks like you and I. Folks like you and I will watch a DTV action film
Yeah,
ASAP. But people who call themselves action junkies, the ones that like watch Stallone, Vin Diesel, to John Wick, to even like the ones watching like Bruce Lee, will they sit down and you'd be like, go watch The Furious? Hopefully.
yeah.
Hopefully they'll watch it. That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing. But it's I don't know, dude.
It is weird. So when I was growing up, then when I was like a teenager and older in the 90s, there was a lot of direct-to-video movies like PM Entertainment, for example, and they would crank out these amazing 90-minute action films with the craziest stunts you'll ever see. And they were flying off the shelves and they were very popular. And the video store is sort of like YouTube now, where like you could see what you
Mm,
wanted to see and you'd watch it. But I feel
I
like
like that.
somewhere along the way, they just horror and the kids just sort of just gravitated towards horror and action sort of has a hard time catching up. And I'm not entirely sure why that might
Well,
be.
so like if we're gonna use the metaphor of the video store being like YouTube, which I very much enjoy, or the YouTube being like a video store, what was always flying off shelves, what kids were always going to was always going to be horror. People want to be scared. I think it's like the one of the things that we seek out the most is to be thrilled. And action is cool and it's thrilling, but most people, a horror picture is going to thrill them more. It's going to shake them. For me, I watch action the way that like I'll watch ballet or Singing in the Rain, like Umbrellas of Cherbourg, sure, however you pronounce it. Sorry, but it's a dance. It's amazing. It's telling a story with the way that each person moves, but other people may not see it that way, and action may not be as thrilling as like running away from a killer or a ghost. Like it's
Sure.
like you can't really, it's hard to compete with ghosts. They're
Yeah,
scary.
it's true. It's true. But I will say, a lot of people like horror because it has a way of saying something about the world, or there's like a lot of metaphors, all that kind of stuff, right? Um,
But I feel like
it's
action does as well. Like like with the Matrix we were talking about earlier, that it's I think there's just like a less. To answer your question, I truly believe it's just that there's less people within the action community that are actively seeking out DTV action. And don't get me wrong, there's a, and don't get me wrong, there is a very healthy amount of people doing it. It's an ecosystem and it's paying for these films. I just wish, just like it seems like you wish, or rather we lament that we don't have as many numbers as folks do in the horror community.
Yeah. But one of the things that, to go back to one of your other shorts, Trapo Sucio, the
Hmm.
Mofongo Western,
Yeah.
you had something to say in that short. It wasn't just like, hey, here's I'm going to show you how I could do a gunfight. But like this one actually has a story that I think, especially with the last year with like Bad Bunny on the Super Bowl, like people are starting to kind of see what's going on down in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
How important was that for you to show that in this particular Western that you made?
Yeah, that like the entire thing is like predicated on me just being angry about colonization or like neocolonialism within Puerto Rico right now. Um, I just you just look at how the island has changed in like the past like 12 to 15 years. Even like the cultural shifts. You're seeing the tech bros coming in, and it's a little frustrating that not enough people are talking about it. So my philosophy is nobody wants to go to a lecture. So why don't I just hide the lecture within a massive genre like action or horror or an adventure film? And Richard Donner would say that the message must be in service of entertainment and not the other way around. And he says then all the DVD commentaries of Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon 2 is a extremely political film, but it's also a really fun action film. So if you want to watch Lethal Weapon 2 as a political film, you're gonna have a great time. If you want to watch Lethal Weapon 2 as just an action film, you're gonna have a great time. And that's what I was trying to aim for. Is something that it's like something like Alien or Rage Against the Machine where you can turn your brain off, enjoy it, or turn your brain on and also enjoy it.
Yeah, that I really enjoyed that short. In the middle of there, you have a fun little shootout. And I have to highlight one little part that I was really impressed with. It was really cool. There was the heroine is behind like a bunch of machines, and then you pan to somebody on the other side shooting at her. But then the camera floats over, and you see somebody's trying to sneak up behind her on the other
Yeah.
side, all in one particular shot. Uh, was that a difficult kind of thing to do, or like what made you come up with something that
Oh
creative?
man. Bro, thank you. I appreciate you highlighting that.
Of
Those kind of
course.
camera shots are like my life, but that is what I freaking love doing, especially when I have like time and a budget, is just uh, 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 motivated oneers, right? So like the camera's only moving because the character is moving. I don't like it when a camera is just like floating around just for the sake of floating around. So when people, for example, talk about like a Spielberg oneer, it's because somebody will come into frame and he'll pan, and then somebody comes in this side of the frame and he'll pan left. So it's like I'll just watch a lot of 40s movies and watch how they do oneers. And the way they do oneers is the camera's motivated, fully motivated, only moves as the character moves, only moves if something in the frame is moving and it moves with it. Not only, but for the most part. So with that scene, I wanted to give you the geography of the laundromat, show you how many bad guys there are, all while being a little bit flashy,
A little bit.
and being like, "What's up, girl? How you doing?" And then uh, that way I can do quicker cuts because since we don't have that much of a budget on the film, I knew that the shootout can only be so cool. So it's like, let me give you geography before I do really quick cuts. And I do something similar in Four Graves where I start off the fight with a oneer to trick the audience into thinking she's tough, she's powerful, and it is gonna be super easy for her. And the second she starts losing, then the grammar, the visual grammar
Yeah.
changes. Yeah.
And but I do think the choreography in that gunfight is good because again, you really can highlight the geography of everybody because you know you can see a lot of gunfights that are just like quick cutting. You're like, I don't know where anybody is. Um, but I think that's helped a lot by the lighting. The lighting is very unique. There's like purples and it's
Yeah.
very bright. Like that was a conscious decision on your part, I
Oh
assume.
yeah. I mean, John Rolon was the DP for that one. I absolutely adore him too. He's my Puerto Rican papi, my Puerto Rican DP. He's incredible. And with that one, it's like let's make the coolest looking laundromat in the history of laundromats because laundromats are fucking boring as shit. I'm obsessed with neon. I'm obsessed with Dario Argento. Like any like cinephile and filmmaker in the 30s is gonna be. So I've always wanted to do a neon laden shootout, and the thing that I learned on it is I'll have to get like a kick, like a white light kicker for the squibs because the squibs do turn into a little bit of mush into the neon light. So I'm gonna have to backlight it a little bit with something white just so you can see the outline for next time.
Yeah,
But
that's a great thing about doing shorts too. Like it's a learning because you're always learning
yeah,
on these
can I tell you a
things.
secret about that shootout?
Yeah.
We did pre-light or they did pre-light for 3 hours, and then I just went in and just and we had I'm not joking. I had no plan and was shooting it out of order. Well, I had a plan in my head, but we shot it out of order. So I'd be like, okay, so if this guy's gonna be here, that means she'd have to be here. So then I would like shoot in my head really fast how I would get there, so that I would never jump the line. So I'm very proud of that scene and the geography in it, especially knowing that I just like literally was just making it up on the fly with two units at once, out of order.
Yeah. I that's impressive too because I would think like in my head I would think okay, you'd have to do like here's the beginning, middle, and end of shooting any sort of action scene. But that was doing it a little bit differently because they had to do it a little bit differently. I think that's
We just were running low on time, and
yeah,
it was what it was. So it was like that kind of thing. So, since the launchman is split in half, essentially,
yeah,
it was that thing of like on the right side, I'll do like this. For example, the squibs took about like 5 takes. So while they're setting up the new squib, I'm on the other side of the laundromat shooting some shit, and they're like, "Okay, we're ready." And then we jump back, shoot a squib, then go back, shoot a squib. So it's kind of like leapfrogging back and forth, but it's not that we were shooting simultaneously because that would explode my brain. But it was just that we were leapfrogging. So it's like a constant forward momentum, but without breaking my brain.
did you have some films in mind when you were thinking about the shootout?
Yes. So I was full on just thinking about Michael Bay with really slow cutting and then Spielbergian camera movements. Like that was
Okay.
just kind of like all that was in my brain. And then with the lighting, it was Argento as fuck, but with the colors of like the Puerto Rican flag, essentially.
Okay, yeah, because that would the colors. I was trying to think what it reminded me of, and now that you say, you know,
So like I was definitely going
Argento,
for like Suspiria, yeah.
yeah, which is, I mean, that's a great movie. Do you remember the first time you watched that one?
Oh my God. Probably 18, 19. And I was like, well, I didn't know you could do that with neon and colors. Okie dokie. And it blew it's kind of like when I watched Douglas Sirk for the first time when I was like 21, 22. I was like, wait, you can do that with lighting? Okay. And it just all that heaven allows. Incredible. Incredible. There'll be like green neon lights coming out of nowhere. And it's like, where are they? Why are they there? Because it looks great.
Were there other musicals that you love?
So for the scene when in Four Graves when she is like all discombobulated, I was inspired by Moulin Rouge and the the undercranking like the 12 frames per second and the very strange editing of that and the impact frames. Um, I adore Singing in the Rain though. Like the shots are just fucking nuts. Uh, I think that like some of the shots in Jesus Christ Superstar, while the choreography is very different than what you would expect, the way that it's shot is very, very inspiring with some of those like lateral dolly movements, with the big explosive choreography. Cabaret, of course. Uh, uh, I don't know, dude. So many.
Yeah, I think some people might think, oh, like you like action, you're like big tough guy, you like only like that kind of stuff. But you talk to any action junkie, they always have that love of kind of the arts of like musicals and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty great. Would you
I
make a
just went to see
musical?
Phantom of the Opera on stage like 2 weeks ago. It
Yeah. How
was
was that?
amazing. I cried. It was amazing.
My wife loves Phantom of the Opera, and
So good.
She went. I think it was probably the same touring group that she saw.
Did she like it?
Yeah, she did. She loves Phantom of the Opera, and she thought that everybody did a really nice job. And
Yeah, they were fabulous.
yeah, and she loves. She's one of the people that loves the movie because she loves Patrick Wilson. He's got his long hair in that particular one.
Dude,
Uh,
Joel Schumacher shoots the fuck out of that movie.
I don't know why people hate it so much. I think it's perfectly good.
It's perfect. Okay, I think it doesn't deserve hate. I just think it's a perfectly good movie, and Phantom of the Opera is a perfectly perfect musical. So it's like it just needs a perfectly perfect film.
I mean,
But
maybe Jerry Butts wasn't the best choice for the Phantom, but he does a decent job, I think.
I love Jerry Butts and everything. He's my guy.
That'd be somebody you probably want to work with one day, huh?
100%. I shall never disparage the Butts because there's nothing to disparage. I
Yeah,
love.
God, I always forget whenever I see clips of him in Dracula 2000. I'm like, oh, he's such a baby face. So
Oh,
young, you
fucking
know?
and then wasn't he a Tomb Raider as well in the second one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's also in Tomb Raider. Yeah, yeah, he's definitely one of the more dependable guys you want to see. He's,
Dude, 300 was a big, I think I was in like eighth grade when that came out. So that was quite impactful.
I'm
As an
sure.
eighth grade boy.
What what else did you love when you were growing up? Like, what was
Well,
here?
musicals for sure. So like West Side Story was big in the household. Those camera shots and that editing is very inspiring to me. Lord of the Rings is just fucking incredible. I love, love, love Pirates of the Caribbean. I love, love, love like Michael Curtiz 40s films, predominantly like his entire output is amazing. Don't get me wrong. It's just that when he goes adventure mode and political mode, I very much enjoy him. So it's like The Seahawk is just one of my favorite films of all time. But I also believe that Casablanca is one of the greatest films of all time as well. So it's just they battle each other in my head. They're both same guy, super political dude.
So I have a question that might be very tough for you.
Okay.
If you can go back and see any film for the first time again, what would it be?
Is my memory wiped or am I there
You're
to
like you've
watch
never
other
like
people?
you just have never people have talked about it, but in your memory you've never seen it. But you obviously have seen it, but like if you can go back and rewatch it for the first time.
Because my mind tells me, because the way that everybody talks about the reaction to the opening shot of Star Wars is pretty intense. So I think Star Wars. I think Star Wars, just so I could like sit in the front row and then turn around and watch everybody's face as they just see like cinema history change before them with the fucking thing going right over the shot, over the frame.
Because I feel like a lot of movies I grew up with, when I see them now, it's different. Like my brain is different. I've experienced more things, So there's gonna be movies that like what I saw as a kid that if I see like Jaws is one of my favorite movies of all time. I would love to see it again for the first time,
Mm,
especially now, just especially with everything we went through during the pandemic and all that kind of stuff when they are sort of addressing that with the mayor character. It'd be really interesting to see that now after and never acting like I've never seen it. Just
yeah,
kind of, I bet you the experience would be much different in an interesting way.
yeah. It's It's a tough question. It's a tough one.
I just started doing that question this season, and so far it's been a tough one. Max during on last week, that took him a minute to come up with a good one too.
Oh, again, I'm like, oh, what would I see in the theater back then? I mean, I think a Buster Keaton short would be sick. Like Frozen North would be sick, but like I don't know, like a packed house watching The General would be amazing to hear all the laughter. Or like The Jazz Singer. just to watch everybody like brains explode. Like, what the fuck? He's talking and he's singing. What the fuck?
That way,
Like,
that's the whole crust of the beginning of the Sing in the Rain.
exactly. So I'm just
Which,
like that. That would be insane to watch and just witness.
yeah, it's I know what I would love to do is I would love to just go back in time and go to some of those movie palaces back in like the 40s and 50s, especially when color and Technicolor start coming in. That would be
Oh my
amazing.
God, watch like how the West was won in CinemaScope. I mean, like, in the Cinema Dome.
Like everybody wants to go back in time and like I'm going to change the future. I'm like I just want to experience a movie.
Yeah,
That
be
seems pretty
fun.
cool to me.
Maybe I'd catch Jack the Ripper. That'd be fun to catch Jack the Ripper though.
Yeah, but imagine if he
Or Zodiac. I'll catch the Zodiac. That'd be fun.
they couldn't Robert Downey Jr. can't do it. What makes you think you're going to do it?
I have a time travel device. If he had one, he could
Yeah.
have just gone to the lake and waited for that weirdo to appear and be like, pop, 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 pop. And then you're the guy that saved the Zodiac. And then now the mystery is who killed the Zodiac? No one knows.
Oh man. Be like, oh, there was just some guy.
Yes, and
Mysterious.
you replace the mystery with the new mystery.
Yeah, that's a much better mystery too.
That
Because
is
like
like
nobody wants to like stop the guy and was just wants to give him a high five or something.
you're like some guy like appeared, shot the bad guy, and then just disappeared into like a vapor. And like, what the fuck? Like that's a great mystery.
Why don't you know what? Every horror franchise eventually goes into space. Why don't they do a Dexter time traveling season where Dexter finds a time travel machine and he's just going back in time and just killing all the
I like
dudes?
that. Also, Dexter in space, solving a space crimes would be fun. Or like Hercule Poirot in space would be great.
Yeah,
Murder on the Galaxy Express.
there you go. There you go.
I'd watch that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, what what is it? There's a film that Sean Connery did that's basically High Noon in space. And of course,
Outlander,
Outlander is
Outland.
a different movie. But
Yeah,
yeah,
or
Outland,
Outland.
that's
Peter Hyams,
a good.
right?
Yeah, Peter Hyams.
Yeah.
Uh, have you seen a lot of Peter Hyams stuff? Because
Yeah,
I
dude,
feel like
fucking the champion.
it's his view of the cameras is unlike anybody, especially the early years that he did. It's quite
Dude.
amazing.
And his light, the even his light, because he was cinematographer for a lot of his films. The lighting is incredible. I love him, dude.
So what's next for you? Are you working on anything right now?
Right now, been like deep in research for a script I'm writing, and then after that, there's like this like serial killer epic I really want to write that like takes place over the course of like 30, 40 years. Um, so I'm about like Godfather 2, but serial killers. So it's like concurrent timeline type jam. Um,
If there's time travel in it, I want a story credit.
no time travel. Just concurrent timelines like
Yeah,
with
I'm just kidding.
Godfather 2, where you're cutting back and
Yeah.
forth between two different perspectives. Um and what is the Godfather 2 is what, like 30, 40 years long,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
You're cutting to like the 20s, the 30s, and then back to the 50s, and I think a tiny bit of the 60s, tiny bit. Or-
I have to make a confession, okay? I've never seen Godfather Part 2.
It's really good, dude. It's like fucking phenomenal.
It's amazing. There's so many of these classic films that I just never seen, but I've seen like every Byrne movie, you know, every Ernest movie, like
Hey,
it's
cinema is cinema. But
it's
I
just
think you would
funny.
you should dig it. You should check it out. The structure of that film is revolutionary. It's wonderful.
Yeah, the other one similar to that one I also really want to see that I haven't yet is Once Upon a Time in America with Leone, Sergio Leone. I've never seen that one
Yes,
either.
El Papi, one of my favorite directors of all time.
Yeah, it's not a surprise since you did do a your own Puerto
Little
Rican
spaghetti
version of a
western.
spaghetti western,
Yeah, yeah.
which I think that's so fun that you did that. Have you thought about doing more western type stuff?
Yeah, westerns are my first love. It's just that right now, uh, the industry just is. pushing me to do period horror right now. So that's just what I'm doing.
Hey, you gotta do what excites you and where the money is,
Yes,
so
exactly.
and I
But
think
eventually, because I've got some Western features that I've written that I really really want to direct, but like that's gotta build up to it.
so before we go, and I'm having a great time here. I ask everybody the
Yes.
same question that comes out of my show for the first time. How do you organize your physical media?
Okay, so I actually have to reorganize it because it's super schizophrenic. But what I did to show you how much I love Western, so what I do is like boutiques first, and then it's just like all of the Westerns because like my favorite thing in the entire world. And then from there, it's director and then genre. But schizophrenic as fuck, so I have to reorganize it.
Sure.
But it's hard because I want all the Westerns to be together, and I want them to be like one of the first things you see. But with the boutique films, it goes like Criterion and then Arrow and Kino, but all of them are by director and in chronological order of said director's things.
Okay.
What I'm gonna do now, when I move into a new place, is reorganize it, go boutique, director, genre for
And
like the stragglers.
so like the director would be like whatever, if it's Arrow and 88 films, you would put them all together under
No,
that
I can't.
director.
That's racism. How dare you? How dare you suggest such an unlawful the criterions separating criterions is akin to a war crime.
Okay, well,
And
don't
the
look at my
arrows
stuff.
you must
Hopefully.
I'm gonna do a film about what about you? Because like think about it. Imagine the arrows separated.
Okay, so I will say this. I'm looking over here, my DVDs are there. Um, so I did recently kind of rearrange a little bit, and I actually do have them by boutique label, actually.
It
And
looks prettier.
The Criterion is first. Now, the reason why Criterion is first is not because it's Criterion, even though it's like the creme de la creme of boutique labels. It's because the first two are DVDs, and they're taller than the rest of
Smart.
them.
Smart.
Now, my two DVDs I have of theirs are the Royal Tenenbaums and The Rock.
Fuck yes. Fuck yes. The DVD commentary on The Rock is really cool. He talks about a technique, and I stole it from him. When I worked on Natalia, we did it, is that you take like a broken mirror and then you shine like powerful light on it and then bounce it off of like mirror shards onto the actors' faces. I stole that from The Rock DVD commentary.
I mean, Michael Bay gets a lot of grief for some people, but like he's
By
really
idiot.
good at directing.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
fucking
yeah,
incredible.
I saw this reminds me of my Letterboxd review of one of the later Transformers. The I think the last one he did with Mark
Five?
Wahlberg.
Yeah.
And the movie narratively is insane. But
Yeah.
I'm like, there's so much craft in this movie, I can't go lower than 2.5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
The craft's on point. It's always on
even
point.
if the movie is insane and maybe slightly a little crazy, but
Fuck it. That's what makes it good.
he still manages to like do stuff from like, not everybody can do what he does.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to keep that rock too. And the rock I found at the library when they were doing a sale.
Ooh. Well, speaking of libraries, how do you arrange your books?
I only have a few books. I don't have as many books, but they're by what they are. So I got a
Like
bunch of Hong
genre?
Kong books. Hong Kong movie books are just together. Um, I also, well, I can't see them right now because they're blocked, but um, they're 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 a lot of nonfiction stuff. So they're just kind of by whatever the subject is.
Fair. That's
Uh,
why I do it is like genre and then within the genre author. And I was thinking to myself, maybe I can do that with movies, but that might be a little schizophrenic. That it's like all the westerns at first, and it's like every western director. And then but then like where do you put Spielberg and like Scorsese? Like where would you put the Coens? Where would you put fucking like Douglas Sirk? So it's just like
yeah. The only thing I do differently is I call out John Carpenter and John Woo movies. So those
mm,
are chronologically in order. So I don't put like I recently got the killer on Arrow. I don't put that Arrow with the other
fair,
arrows. I keep it
fair.
with John Woo because he's my favorite director.
He's
So I'm
amazing.
trying to collect all of his stuff, and it's just
That's
fun to
fair.
to look and be like, look at all
You know,
the
that's a good
stuff in
point.
order and everything.
I think Criterion is the one that it wouldn't separate, but like everything else, fine.
There is one movie on Criterion that John Woo did, but I already have it on another disc, so
Fair.
I don't.
I have my in my Blu-rays. I only have a few DVDs, and most of them are John Woo DVDs. The Dragon Dynasty releases.
Sure. Yeah, but those are classic ones. Did you have a lot of VHS tapes growing up, or
Yes,
were
well, I
DVDs
do
your
and
thing?
still do. I like to watch shit on VHS still on a CRT TV because I'm fucking insane. I love VHS.
Well, sometimes you can get good inspiration from just watching like some movie you can only get on VHS, a low
Right.
budget thing, and you're like, how
Absolutely.
did they do this shot on like no money? And
Yeah.
you start figuring it out.
And VHS horror is great. Like there's one I watched with Matthew Dillon called Remote that was about it's from the 80s and it's this VHS tape uh, or rather a VHS stand and tape that makes people go nuts and start murdering and
Yeah,
it's like
remote.
Alien.
Yeah, okay. So it's called Remote Control, and it's Kevin Dillon. It's not Matt Dillon. It's Kevin's brother.
Damn it.
I
It's a
saw that.
fucking you know what? Take two, remote control with Kevin Dillon.
No, it's fine. Um, I'm old, so like I've seen a lot of like
That
stuff.
movie's sick, dude.
It's kind of a forgotten movie because I don't think not many people know about it.
I love it.
Yeah, so
It blew my mind. I was like, this is what I look out. This is what I seek. If I tell you I want to watch a cheesy 80s horror movie that's hilarious, I want remote control.
there you go.
So good. And the neon in it is phenomenal. There's some really wonderful camera movement too.
You should also watch some of the early Charles Band stuff
Okay, I will.
because he shoots on film and he's surprisingly really good with like his lighting and whatnot.
Okay, okay. We'll check them
Um,
out.
and Also another one from the early 90s you should check out is the Pit and the Pendulum remake that
Okay.
Gordon did. It is hilarious and just they have this they filmed a castle that he just owned, right? So they filmed on film at a castle with all like the period piece garb and all that kind of stuff. Lance Henriksen's in it, and another one of his amazing villain performances. So like people always talk about Hard Target and Stone Cold, but people also should really check out Pit and the Pendulum.
Dude, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, I have good ideas every now and then.
I'm gonna watch the crap out of that. And The Vanishing.
Yeah, there you go. And let me know what you think of it.
Yeah, I
And
will.
I also highly recommend everybody check out his shorts. I'll
Oh, thank you.
link them under the show notes. But tell everybody else where they can find you online.
Yeah, you can just find me on Instagram, Jordan Santacana, and on Instagram and I think Twitter as well. And the RBI matey, that's where I am.
Excellent. And dude, it was really great to catch up with you
Yes, it's
and
great.
learning more about your films and your love of film. And hopefully I can have you on again in the future talking about
Yes,
your next project.
that'd be amazing. That'd be amazing.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for coming on, and also thanks everybody for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. That was dope. Finally do my favorite filmmaking technique of all time, which is undercranking when you're shooting at like 12, 16 frames per second. So when she gets,
15 p.m.
thank you, Alexa. So